to be on RAD Radio. He is an amazing artist and individual.
Yes.
I am excited to listen to him on the show and have him as part of Sircles. Can you get him to paint on RADTV? Well, maybe next time. By the way, hi, David. How you doing?
Hey,
good to see you again.
up?
Oh my God, it's so exciting.
I mentioned yesterday the internet describes you as a performance painter, and I've been using that term. Do you like that term?
I love it. Actually, we had to use that because people will come up with other names, which are a little weird. So.
Oh, yeah, so that one you're like, use that one.
Please, yeah. It's a good starting point.
Now, do you get Dawn hadn't met you until just a minute ago? Is that what you get most often? Is the America's Got Talent reference?
Absolutely, it was life changing. That happened in 2012, but I started in 2003, so it was like there was a turning point where I had to decide. Look, am I just going to be kind of this like secret, unknown thing, or are we just going to go for it on national TV? And it changed my life even to this day.
I'm so happy you did.
Was the experience great?
It was interesting. So I'll say this. This is a big part that's overlooked. I do paintings normally in 6 minutes on stage, these are 6-foot paintings. Still fast. Mm-hmm. I did every single painting in 90 seconds on the show. Yeah. So that part is very much overlooked. That was hard. That was stressful. The funny thing was after the original audition, we got a standing ovation from the audience, from the judges, Howard Stern, Howie Mandel, Sharon Osbourne, and then I'm looking at my dancers with me. I'm like, we have to do this again. Oh no! Every round felt like that. Like, oh my God, we have to do it again with less time to get ready.
Now, you did lose all credibility with Dawn when you told her that you've been a big listener of the show.
Oh, no.
Because Dawn doesn't understand why anyone would listen to this crap.
She said that, too.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't believe you listened to us. I'm like, oh, my God.
I wasn't expecting, because like when we knew, like, they'll say where people are from or whatever on AGT, and it didn't even cross my mind, does this guy listen to our show? It's like, of course he doesn't.
I grew up listening to you guys. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank
Yes.
you.
Where did the Sacramento connection start for you? Because you were born in SoCal, weren't you?
I was born in L.A., but my dad moved us here when we were very young because he was working for Blue Diamond Almonds at the time.
Oh, yum.
And I know we had a house full of almonds, and that's what brought us to Sacramento. We were living in, at the time, it was South Sacramento, and then that became Elk Grove and so on. So this has been home. My roots are here. Sacramento is home.
And we've been talking recently. We really brought it up when the A's had opened up a couple weeks ago. Is that Sacramento? Because Dawn went to high school here, then left for a while, and I've lived here since 1999, and it has grown so much. And I call Sacramento because I grew up in the Bay Area, so. Sacramento was always like the ugly stepchild, right? Of the Bay Area.
It's got a little, still feels like that sometimes.
It does, and that's why
I like it.
We've gone from that to Sacramento now is the little engine that could, it just hasn't yet.
Yeah.
Because you got Doco, you got Golden One, you've got the Farm to Fork thing, you've got all of the music, the artistry, and it's expanding in a good way and in a good pace.
Yeah,
and it I think a lot more people are prideful of Sacramento than they were before.
Well, the credit that Sacramento doesn't get is, and I'll use just my example because I know a lot of talented artists, but it's a very forgiving audience at first. If I did what I did in New York, I don't think it would have went over well. But here, they're like, well, at least he's one of ours. We'll give it a chance.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so I got to learn in front of people and learn how to perform and paint and all this. So it was forgiving enough so that I can go out, perform around the world, come back home. And I think the point of it at the end of the day is, look, no matter what happens, how much success, I always have a home to come back to. And this will be home for as long as we can make it home.
I mentioned before, COVID changed everything. And before COVID, there were they're coming back, but there were a lot more charity functions where you go out and you have a nice dinner and you can do an auction.
Yeah.
And my wife and I have been to more than a few where you've performed, and we have a gorgeous Marilyn Monroe.
Honored.
That you did. It hangs at the top of our game room.
Not above your bed?
No.
I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, I know. But it's one of those pieces.
Yeah.
It's honest comparison. It's like I've never once walked into my garage and taken for granted my Corvette. I love it. It's gorgeous. It's fun to drive. Same thing with this. Every time we see it, one of us, we comment on it too much, and especially knowing you're going to be on the last few days, and we're showing it on RAD TV. I don't remember which auction that was, and I'll proudly, happily say we paid thousands of dollars. I don't know how much. You're competing against other people. worth every penny.
Thank you.
It's amazing how you can get joy from something like that.
Yeah.
People, I guess it's just kind of like music. It either touches you or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And I try to make that experience feel like that. Yes, the art is the byproduct of that experience, but from when I step on stage and the music, the sound, and over the years, thinking about how I move, how I talk to the audience, and also reading YouTube comments will help you get better. Because you're like, oh my, I have so much to work on. Hey, I say thank you for the help, but the charities have to win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like you go into business, you want your customers to win, and your business will benefit from it, but the charities ultimately win, which makes me happy.
We're talking to performance painter David Garibaldi. You can call if you want, 888-989-9811. We're getting emails, rad@radradio.com. This one's from Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Says, glad to hear David Garibaldi joined Sircles. I was fortunate to have a Thanksgiving meal with him about 20 years ago.
Whoa.
He's such a humble and kind man. What, are you just showing up at people's houses?
I guess so.
Hey,
I was at gunpoint, but so nice.
It's an odd one. But I was just talking, to Danny from Sircles, because somebody else wrote in yesterday, and they made such a great point that you are such the personification of what Sircles is all about. The positivity, and then also back to the Sacramento thing.
Yeah.
And I know, I knew this before John and Danny, who are just starting to get to know you. I'm doing that Bigfoot thing with them, like, oh, yeah, I know. Okay, David and I go way back.
Yeah.
But they are so impressed with how supportive you are of just local businesses and family businesses and the community.
Yeah.
And that's what Sircles is, right? And this thing has grown out of Sacramento and into Reno, and it's all about connecting with other small businesses and family businesses and local businesses.
Yeah.
And that's all we're doing business with now. It's all just local Reno to Sacramento businesses, all family run, owned and operated. Positive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's like we're all meant to be together in this thing.
Yeah, and the people that introduced me, my good friend Zane brought me in, introduced me to the guys, and so I'm still learning a lot, but from just what I saw, we spent an hour plus talking about this, and it's just another outlet to be a positive support to local businesses. I also love the chat feature as well. Like all the sub communities, it's like a, I don't know, it's just a better version of what's been out there already.
Now you're on Circles because I'm following you.
I did sign up.
Yeah.
Yes, please follow me.
I followed you today.
Okay, good, thank you.
Good. How much time have you spent on Circles? Because you're a busy guy. We were talking off the air about how busy you are.
I have not spent enough time. I've probably maybe clocked in a couple hours on there scrolling, looking at different chats, but I'll be on there more. I really want to set up a community, though, for philanthropy in Sacramento.
Oh, nice.
And there's some projects that we have coming up where maybe we can nominate some folks, but just get the conversation going.
Yeah.
A lot of people need help in different ways, and that's aside from art, that is a big part of who I am and what I want to support.
So have you made any recommendations yet? Or
Not
you haven't
yet.
had time to get in there and go,
No, I haven't done that yet.
Because there's a thing where you can go into the entertainment section and podcasts. You can actually recommend Rad Radio.
Okay.
You don't have to, though.
I will do that to my now 2 followers. Yes.
So you've seen the chats. Have you
Yes.
jumped into any of them yet?
I don't think I have.
Because
Not yet.
we've got the Maggot Army chat, which is over 10,000 people, and
Which
they
is
were already
incredible.
talking about you
Oh.
yesterday, knowing you were coming on and how excited they were.
Oh,
Yeah.
someone put up when I started following you a podcast that you had, and I went
Yes.
and looked it up. Are you still doing it?
Yeah, so
Okay.
The Paint Method is a podcast that I started, and it's really inspired by a message that I talk about on stage a lot, which is passion, action, intent, new, and teach. And it's just a tool to look at your life and say, like, okay, where am I at right now? What do I start working on? But we got some really cool guests on there. And then also I just share some insights from whatever people can learn from a performance painter, which has been a unique journey.
But it was
along the way.
already working. I was like, I didn't know we had a podcast.
Yes.
Someone put it up there to share.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
they liked it. So,
There again is what's so great about Circles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dawn never would have known. I didn't know. And then it can pop up, and then we can all start listening. We can go back and listen, and that's what
Yeah.
happens for other businesses.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
As well. So you're just getting into the Circles thing,
Yes.
learning about it, and Zane is part of the Circles team.
Yes.
But also a good friend of yours, so we're gonna make that
Great synergy.
connection. Yeah, it's amazing. So let me ask you,
Yeah.
and I'm just asking as a friend. I'm invested like a lot. This is like, I believe in Circles for all the reasons we're talking about. Do you think you might?
I think I might.
Yeah.
this is just my first introduction. The last 2 weeks, I've had probably 2-3 different meetings. Luckily, there's some great things in my life that has allowed me to be able to have those conversations. So, and then I'm getting married within the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
That's right.
congrats,
man.
Congratulations.
So she's also a big part of that decision. We were talking about it last night. So it'll be honestly, it'll be Chadi, my fiance. We'll both be talking about this, and yeah.
And for the rest of you, just go to radradio.com. There's the WeFunder link there. Click over, and it's right now closed. It's only the Rad community that can still invest. We did the first $300,000 in 24 hours on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah. This audience has just been so loyal, and so trusting and believe in us, and to a certain extent me.
Yeah.
And so I take that really seriously, and that's why you come on, and I want to talk to you about being David Garibaldi, but I want to push the Circles thing a little, because I gotta get my maggot army to see their investment come true.
Yes.
It's my personal reputation is on the line here.
Yeah, and also I would add is we were also talking about a lot of creative stuff. How can we get the word out in a creative way? Like what we're doing, we have over 2 million followers across social media right now.
Amazing.
How can we use our platform to share about Circles? So there's definitely more to it, including the investment and sharing, getting the word out.
I don't want to get too personal, but how'd you meet your wife, or your soon-to-be wife?
The good old-fashioned way through her ex-husband.
This sounds good.
Wow.
No.
Oh my God.
No, we met over 20 years ago. Actually, a close friend of mine had just hired me for an event, but he's also, this gentleman, Kevin, he introduced me to not only her, but also this style of painting literally at the same time.
Wow.
So we met a long time ago. We didn't reconnect until 7-ish years ago. We were both rebuilding our lives from literally zero. And being a +1 turned into literally a life forever together.
I love that.
And
I love her name.
Chadi.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
yes.
great.
Obviously, it's always about finding the right person, but there are certain people and professions that are more challenging. Obviously, if you're going to be with somebody on Rad Radio, you got to know your life's going to be out there, and that depending on where you go, Northern California, Northern Nevada, you're going to get recognized. Your meals are going to get interrupted, and we don't mind.
Nope.
We encourage people. You, Mr. Big Shot, same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because not only are you this worldwide star, no joke,
Yep.
but you also are you travel a lot.
Yes.
So it's got to be just the right fix or matchup, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. She gets stopped all the time, too.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
people are stopped. They're coming up. I'm like, sorry, babe, they want a picture. They're like, no, excuse me. They Chadi, I'm a big fan of your. So she's like this
That's
bodybuilding
great.
champion.
Nice.
And also, but she's such a champion for women. Like, the women that come up to her, they're like hugging and crying. So she's the superstar. I'm just like the support staff.
You're like, I thought I made it,
Yeah.
and no.
No, but I love that, and that's what helps us in our synergy is, she has a passion in what she does, but also she realizes that it takes a lot of work, sacrifice. She's in it as well.
And how many shows are you doing a year now?
I would say between 70 and 100, depending on, I have 2 kids also, and I'm driving 6 hours a day to activities. So we've had to cut back, but luckily the crazy thing is in COVID, we went from 100 a year to 0.
Damn.
And but we rebuilt this sort of content machine behind the scenes that allows me to be home more. But right now I'm leaving. I told you I'm leaving till Milwaukee tomorrow for the weekend.
And it's all over the world, too.
All over the world,
various
yes.
times. All right, so we mentioned we got emails here, rad@radradio.com. We're talking to performance painter David Garibaldi. I love this is your connection to the Sacramento community. There's like email after email like this one. Steven says, way back 20 years ago, we used to go to the Fox and Goose for freestyle hip-hop and David painting live. It was a great time. I wish I would have had the money to buy a picture of painting back then.
So
Wow, that would have been a great investment.
Alicia wrote in and said, so excited to see David on the show today. He probably doesn't remember, but he was my best friend's date for our senior ball back in 01.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's how
That did not end well, by the way.
That's how our first meet him in our group, and we all went to dance together. Been following his career for years. So happy to see you. You're such a kind and genuinely nice guy. So glad you become so successful. Your art is truly incredible. Love watching you.
That's
Wow.
sweet.
Oh.
that stories like that. I just went back. I'm like, that didn't end well.
Yeah.
Well, she likes you.
That's all that matters.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. One person.
Also, we got an email from Demetrius. Says, David has always been a very talented person, going all the way back to junior high.
Wow.
The first time I watched David on stage was winning the 8th grade talent show.
Oh, my
Congratulations on all your success, and looking forward to watching Sircles
Wait,
grow.
does anyone want to ask what I did for the talent show?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I rapped. I was a rapper.
Oh, you didn't paint.
No, I did not paint.
Oh, so you can rap and paint.
No, I can't rap. In 8th grade,
You won a talent contest.
I beat out like a hula hoop, person. Like, come on.
But you won.
Hey, I didn't win America's Got Talent, but I won my 8th grade talent show.
Where did you finish on AGT?
I came in 4th, behind the dogs.
Yeah,
There was 3 dogs in front of me.
Yes. We were like, damn it, the dogs. Right? They always will take it. And we're like, because of course we're rooting for you. And it's like, but here's the dogs.
It was meant to be. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out great. And also, it's a very consistent refrain with those shows. Most of your successful American Idol alums weren't winners.
Yeah.
Couple, but most of them were 8th or 4th or got kicked off early, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't matter.
We were blessed after that, so we're good.
Amanda just emailed in and said, I saw that you're using the same wedding photographer that we used. She's amazing. We need to favorite her on Circles.
Oh,
Yes.
hey.
Yes, Nicole Sepulveda. She shoots all of our photos. She's amazing.
See, and she's right. When you get the time, like maybe
Yes.
on that flight to Milwaukee tomorrow.
I'm going to hop on
Go in there
Circles
and you
and recommend
start
Nicole.
There you go.
I like
After
it.
the RAD Radio.
Yeah, after that,
Yeah, right.
yes.
I'll text you. Hey, just remember.
Will ya?
I'll send you a message in Circles.
Yes.
Here's an interesting one from Laura. Says, I'm the fundraising chair for my son's high school boosters club. We have an annual crab feed every February.
Oh, those
Is
crab
that
feeds.
something David would consider doing?
Ooh, I like the pitch. That I cannot commit on air, but
Obviously.
but reach out. Send me a DM.
I mean, you'll listen, right? Anybody should
For
reach
sure.
out.
Here's the thing: we get, people reach out about a lot of different events, and we want to make sure that they win. So we may not be a fit right now, but we could donate a print, a canvas print, something. So
Nice.
we'll try our best.
So obviously we're on RAD TV, and we just put up a caption for you. It said David Garibaldi, world's #1 performance painter. I don't know if that's an official ranking.
And middle school rapper.
And middle
Don't
school
forget,
rapper.
yeah.
But it made me think, does anyone else do what you do? You're so unique.
There's a very small community of people that do this. So Denny Dent was the first that did this style. 80s, 90s. He was a maniac. He called it a rock and roll. He was a rock and roll painter. He passed away early 2000s. I had picked it up. He had one student. So and unfortunately he's passed. So I was kind of like new to this, bringing it to the world, and before YouTube. So once YouTube came, I was kind of the first person in that sense. But there's been people after me, and I know that I've become very popular in this style, and so I'll see people tagging me in their videos saying, "Hey, they're ripping you off." I'm like, "Look, guys, I was not the first, and if I do this well enough, I won't be the last." So
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
proud of the art form. I'm happy to see other artists doing it. It's I could count on my hand how many, maybe 2, but it's a growing art form.
And the old imitation is the highest form of flattery thing.
Yeah.
Can
I'll
you?
take it.
That's a beautiful way to put it, though, right?
Right,
Like
absolutely.
that it will encourage others.
Yeah.
And then there will be more.
Can you
Yeah.
put into words how you do it? Because it's so wild to watch. And now that I hear you were doing it in 90 seconds on AGT, because there are people who see you for the first time and they don't know anything about you, and their immediate reaction is, "Oh, that this is a gimmick." He's got he's painting by numbers, and he always does the same people. You don't always do the same people. So how people would describe it as you're dancing around throwing paint, and yet it turns into Marilyn Monroe.
incredible.
I was on your website yesterday. Beyonce. You're doing so many.
Yeah.
How does it happen?
Oh, man. So I would start by saying I speed up the process. So from the planning part, finding the image is going to connect with the audience, and then the music to support it in that time. So that's kind of like the baseline. And then knowing, okay, I only have about 6-ish minutes to do this. Then it's the preparation. So there's the materials, there's the canvas, there's practicing the image over and over. Now, when I started, I used to practice days on end to learn a portrait, to memorize it by shapes.
Wow.
Now it's a lot quicker, but the preparation is, if you were to break down a portrait into shapes, now I'm just creating shapes with light and shadow rather than trying to make like the portrait of the person. And then I would say the process, so that's just the painting part of it. You can also compare it to a musician reading the notes and they're playing it, but they start to do that so much that now they're performing it. It's the same thing. And then the other part is this. There's the painting. You got to learn that. The other part is, how do you make it entertaining? There's a reason why I have a mic on a mic stand and I go to the audience. And there's parts because I don't want to be boring to the audience. I want them to actually walk away like this was a cool experience. Yeah. And so it's the mixture of that. It's like a musician. It's like a drummer. You know, only my drum heads are spots on the canvas. And depending on the song, I've got to perform it in a certain way with rhythm, and hopefully it's entertaining.
So when you're practicing to do a new portrait and daily, what happens to all those practice portraits?
I do them on paper.
Okay.
So a lot of them don't see the light of day. They'll just kind of end up in the trash bin, you know? Some I do save where I'll like them. Like when I was practicing for Andrea Bocelli's tour, we actually ended up selling the practice ones as well.
Yes.
So it depends on what it is, but it's just, you know, it's a
lot of talent you have.
Thank you.
Because the painting part itself, most people can't do that.
It's hard, yeah, it's a lot.
All these other talents that you have, as you said, to make it entertaining, it's just incredible.
Thank you.
So do you play around with any other painting styles as well? Do you go back to like watercolors or bust out like oil paintings and actually take your time? You were saying it takes 6 minutes when you're on stage and you're making a performance. Do you have like paintings that take months at a time that you're like really proud of?
I do. So maybe not months at a time, but there's paintings that I do that are smaller, more of like a fine art style, and even on my iPad illustrating. You know, I wanted to be an animator for Disney growing up, and I took this animation class and this teacher that changed my life. But because I didn't graduate high school, I couldn't go to the college. But I still love illustrating and painting in that style. I just don't put enough energy behind it to sell it. Maybe later on when my body can't perform, you'll see me like, hey, I've got this for sale. But I love watercolors. I love acrylics. And I do get time to work on personal projects still.
What a life story, though.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, you just threw in. You didn't graduate high school, but look at you.
No.
Like, honestly, that's incredible life story.
On David's resume, it's
Oh my
won the
gosh.
8th grade talent show. That's my level of education.
And then the Kiss tour right after that. Yeah.
I mean, wow, amazing.
By the way, David Garibaldi, performance painter, you can follow him on Sircles. If you're new to Sircles or you're still getting used to it, you just go to your homepage.
Yeah.
Far left corner on the bottom, search, type in David Garibaldi. He'll come up, follow him.
Yes.
More emails coming in, rad@radradio.com. This one's from Mackenzie. She says, I'm pretty sure David came and did his performance at my high school, Christian Brothers, and he did a giant Jesus, if I'm not mistaken.
This is true. Yeah. Early on in my career, I was performing and speaking at schools. Like that was me. As a band would go to dive bars and clubs,
Right.
I did it at schools, and Christian Brothers was one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a big Jesus painting there.
That's amazing.
Taylor wrote in and said, I have a question for David. I live in Colorado. I'm interested in buying a painting.
Yes.
I was curious how difficult it would be to ship a painting to a different state.
Great question. We ship paintings all over the world. Now, the size of the paintings are 6 foot by 5 foot on average. We do some smaller ones, but we roll them and ship them in a tube. It's protected by, you know, how we pack it, but then we recommend a local framer in their area to get it stretched in their home, which is way less than shipping it fully stretched.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we ship around the world.
What is your website?
GaribaldiArts.com is the website, and if you go /gallery, you'll see a lot of paintings.
No Name just emailed in and said, if David's practice pieces end up in the trash, I'll be his garbage collector.
Right?
Okay.
That's like a book there or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yamez, I think his name says. I just want to say I was able to see David in an event last year. He was booked for a Sky River Casino event in the Elk Grove area, and wow. You can watch all the videos on TV and the internet, but to actually see him live in action was simply amazing, and was very thankful to actually watch him in person. We ended up losing the silent auction for his painting that he did that night, but his whole painting was the best I've ever witnessed. I will forever remember that night.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Adam wrote in and said, Rob, can you have David on more often? He's hilarious. I'd love to have him on
You
more.
heard it here. Yes.
One more. So at the actual performance, anyone, have you ever screwed up? Have you ever gotten done and went, oh, I didn't nail it?
Absolutely. It happens more often than you think. Because think about this. I'm throwing paint. Paint has a life of its own. It's dripping. It's wet. But what I do is I do have a little can of black paint. And I used to think that was cheating. Like early on, I don't know why I thought this way, but it is a saving grace. So if I have, like, say I have a piece of splatter paint that goes on an eyeball that I really need later on, I just get it with black paint, let it sit for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then go touch it up. But it happens a lot. And here's the thing. Not every painting is perfect, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I walk away, I look at it, and I think, how can I just improve a little bit better next time? And, we should all be like that about everything that we do. And hopefully in 20 years, I'll figure this out.
You did kind of touch on it because I was like, I wonder how much of that is the artist's mind where y'all are never really satisfied.
Oh, yeah. We have to suffer.
Right?
We have to suffer.
Yes, where everyone else is like, that is amazing. And you're like, no.
No, it could be better. Yes.
David Garibaldi, performance painter, Sacramento lover, part of the community, and now on Sircles.
Yes.
You can follow him on Sircles. Please do. He will start making recommendations.
Yes.
And I think we have a big future together. It's so great to see you again, man.
It's so great to see you,
And my wife says
Dawn.
hi.
Yeah, so
Just
nice
the
to
RAD
meet you.
family. Is it Maggot Army, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is like literally been a dream come true. So I just so you know, this is awesome.
Wow.
No, thank you for being here.
You
Great
really-
energy here.
We try. I mean, we
love
were
it.
talking before we went on the air. Part of that is we're in our own building. We
Yeah.
create the
Yes,
energy.
nice.
This
No
is-
outside forces.
This
Yeah.
this is like a really good. I've done a lot of different media stuff, but there's a really good energy here, and I love that you could
Yay.
spend time talking.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Well, thank you, man. You really are welcome anytime. But I know you're not around much.
I'll
But,
be
but
showing up tomorrow morning
you text well,
with food suggestions.
then Milwaukee will be very upset if you show up tomorrow
this
morning.
is true. Yeah,
So
this is true.
you text me anytime and say, "Hey, man, get me back
Oh
on.
my
We'll get you
gosh.
back on." Thank you so much, David.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Rob.
We're going to
John.
play Treble Trouble right now. We got a free 1-month membership to RAD TV. You'll be qualified for the grand prize drawing. 9 winners. We'll choose either a pair of tickets to see Seven Dust at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno on April 27th, or a pair of tickets to see Disturbed at the Golden One Center in Sacramento on Friday, May 9th. For Treble Trouble, you get a song clip. You got to know the title of the song, and you win. Caller 18 guesses first, then 19, then 20. And if nobody knows the title, no winner.
We need a winner.
888-989-9811 for Treble Trouble.
Rob,
Anybody.
and Dawn.